Poland. Now today we're going to talk about Poland and how exactly it's going to be for them in the future and how it used to be in the past. If you don't know, Poland is one of those biggest countries in Europe. Technically, I think it's kind of in a central Europe. I don't want to call it exactly an Eastern Europe because it's pretty much in a north center, let's say. It's pretty much a flat country. Always have, let's say, some trouble because of that, and in the recent history we also know what's happened in the World War II, especially when they pretty much get invaded mainly for let's say security reasons, especially right now. One thing I want to mention, I don't know what happened to my channel, but since today at midnight, so if you have YouTube analytics, you can see from 0 a.m. let's say to 1 a.m. immediately. I don't know what's happened, but the views on this channel just dropped to pretty much zero. I suspect somebody just report my channel because this is probably how YouTube makes things right now. If somebody report your channel, it just pretty much shut us down. I don't know for how long and how it's gonna be, but unfortunately the YouTube have those, I guess, tools and policy. When I didn't get an email or something like that that somebody reported, but something definitely happened, because to just drop your views from pretty much zero all of a sudden at midnight, that's pretty much suspicious to me. And we're gonna see for how long I can make those videos, but for now I just want to keep you, let's say, updated with what just happened last night. So we're gonna see how it's gonna play in the future. Now let's make our video about Poland. Poland has a population about 38 million people, so a healthy amount of people, I would say. But you can see the growing rate obviously going down. You're gonna see here in 2022, 2023, we know what's happened here. They have that war in Ukraine, and a lot of people just moved to Poland, or at least looking for asylum to Poland, and we have this huge spike here. But let's go back in time and see. 1955, the Polish population was 27 million people. They have a growing rate of about 1.7%. That roughly it's around 500,000 people, I would say, every year. Migrants still on the minus. I suspect most of them still going in the US. I think the US have a healthy population from Poland, migration from this part of the Europe. The median age was 25 years old, so a very good one, especially for the Europe. Fertility rate 3.5, 3.6, very well, very good. And the urban population 43%. Now, everybody knows 10 years before that, the Poland was pretty much in ruin after World War II, so it kind of makes sense. Even back then, a lot of people just stay in a countryside. And even today, I would say, you can see the Polish population not that urbanized, let's call it like that. Now, the global rank was actually 19, so they were actually in top 20, so big country, and also with a big population, 1955, so that's something very interesting. Now fast forward to today, they grew about 10 million people, so now it's around 38 million people, but they have a growing rate of minus 1%. Okay, those 1% is going to go, a lot of them from migration, a lot of them because in 2022 you're going to see almost 1 million people migrate to Poland, and most of them, they were from Ukraine. Everybody knows what's happened with the war, and a lot of people just flee Ukraine, and they found probably even in those areas the best place to live is just Poland. But right now in Poland, let's look before, but again, we have a pandemic. Poland usually have a growing population until, let's say, the Soviet bloc collapses and the communist also collapses. We see that we say merging together. But now, especially after 2000, you're gonna see migration was also on a minus pretty much, except a few things. In 2010, they have 120,000 people coming. I don't know exactly what's happened there, but it looks like they're on the plus. But the overall population, the native one, let's say after 2000, it's pretty much on the minus constantly, except, like I say, the Ukrainian migration. But after that, you can see here they're going down. So those data is not exactly very accurate because you can come and go very quickly there, and you kind of disturb the things. But you're gonna see probably in the future gonna say some much more reliable data. But by 2025, 38 million people, migration again, a bit chaotic. But the median age grew to 42 years old, which is kind of old in my opinion. And fertility rate 1.3, which is extremely low. I think they go below replacement immediately after the communist collapses, from 207 to 163, which is a huge drop in my opinion. Like I say, the urban population 60%, not that much, especially we look yesterday and at Netherlands, and you can see some differences. You're gonna see how they're gonna play in the future, but now it's like 60%, so almost, let's say, half of them living in countryside. Global rank 42, they go down, especially because the other countries just catch up with them. Especially, like I said, they were top 19, now top 50, let's say. So they lose quite a bit of people, but it's pretty much classic for the European country right now. Now let's see how it's gonna be in the future. By 2050, the population gonna go down at 32 million. Again, I have to say, in every single video that I made, those data are not exactly 100% accurate. I don't think even the government have exactly a data how many people are in the country and how it's gonna play in the future, because there are a lot of things that are in motion, and you cannot actually, even though it's a pandemic, nobody knows it's gonna keep the pandemic, and we have one, and all the data kind of go out of the window. So even in this website, a lot of people I saw that they coming, I saw my government says we have those many people and those many, and it doesn't correlate with them. None of them has a perfect number. It just shows something to comment on them. It just show a direction. That I think is more important, because if you have the exact number, you're never gonna find one. And also the most important thing is actually, if you live in Poland, for example, for this video, how actually do you see the numbers? Because I always keep getting the discussion like how many your grandparents have, how many kids your parents have, and how many kids you have, and you're gonna see, and also your friends, and you're gonna see a dropping in population just for that. So that's always, it's a good reliable term, because it's your experience, and you should go that. And also look at the other factors around your city, around the country. Especially if you're living in countryside, you're gonna see how many people actually go to the kindergarten, how many kids go to kindergarten, how many kids go to school, and also how many kids your neighbors have. Those are the most, I think, reliable data that you can see, because you can affect exactly your community, exactly where you live. So this is how you are gonna feel. If you go, let's say, at Saturday morning in the mall for shopping, probably gonna see a lot of people are gonna say the population is going hugely up, not down. So depends on which environment you are, you're gonna see some changes. But by 2050, 32 million people for Poland. Again, they are still on the minus, but now they come closer to -1% a year, which is huge in my opinion. And you can see the migration it's on a minus, but very, very low. And the native population is preparing to go in fast, on the decline direction, faster probably than anyone predicted. And by, let's say, the end of the century, probably the Poland, even those numbers, I think that's gonna go down much faster. Probably by 2040, 2045 is gonna be under 30 million person that are actually living in Poland, not just with the citizenship. So by the end of the century, probably is gonna go, I will agree, even half of that. So probably gonna end up around 15 million people, so which is huge, I would say. Having that many people lose it in such a short time, I would say it's gonna go in history like a typically European dropping population. But it is what it is. Median age also going up pretty fast. I would say 6 years in the next 25 years. It's huge. 51 years old, almost 52. So by the end of the century, we expect how much? 65. So that's already the retirement age. So pretty much you have all the country retired. That cannot end well either. Fertility rate just up a bit, let's say, from 133 to 1.4. It means nothing. But even that, I don't think it's gonna stay like that, because, like I said, the population is going down much faster. If they get lucky, if by 2050 they get a fertility rate around 1, that would be, I would say, a very optimistic scenario for them. Urban population doesn't go that much higher at 70%. Now, like I say, with European countries, I see a problem. because especially in those countries that they have a communist government, I don't see any pleasure living in those apartment buildings. I don't see any pleasure living in those new apartment buildings that are pretty much optimized for profit and not for a good living. And the only solution, I would say, probably is just build your own house in a countryside. And you see those numbers doesn't go up that much for the future. So probably we're gonna see something like this happening, but it's very hard to make a forecast on that. But that's pretty much what I will do, just living outside the city, have a much better life, especially in even in Poland. It's a nice country. If you live, let's say, here on the beach, on the northern part of the country, it's very nice. Even the border with Germany, I think, is gonna have some nice things there. But overall, living in a big city is huge one. Not a good idea, I would say. Global rank is going down, obviously, 59. By the end of the century, probably gonna leave top 100. But again, it's a European country. We expect that. Life expectancy now in Poland for both sexes is 78 years old, which is pretty good. Female 82 and male 75, so quite a difference between female and males, but there is a steady growing, I would say. Now, how that is going to be well for the future to have, like I say, a country by the end of the century with pretty much the average wage retirement age, not so well, but we're going to see how technology is going to play in that part. Now, infant mortality 3.3 and death under age of 5 3.8. I would say it's pretty good, especially from a country that came out under the communist. I would say actually very good, because anything under 3, it's great for pretty much any country in the world. To be that close to that number in the last, I don't know, 35 years of communist free country, they make huge progress. And you can see in healthcare that immediately. Warsaw with 1.7 million people, this is the only city with more than 1 million people. The rest of them stay pretty, I would say, typically for the European part. Now, my thought about what's happened with Poland and what it's going to be in the future, I think they developed the industry very well, and we'll see those defense system right now, especially in defending the Europe with everything that's happened now, taking a huge step forward. But I think the main problem for the Polish people is going to be the dropping population. Now we're talking about economic stats, not about overall. So that will be dropping population, and also a median age increases. But the main thing I see in Poland, the main problem, is the labor market. And I think the Polish people, they're still selling their human resource for those, let's say, Western companies, from outside companies, cheap. So I'm not sure. The wages obviously are increasing, but they are still selling their human resource short, I would say. And that I don't think how well it's gonna play, because I have a few things I would say that I bought, especially in car parts, that in car tools, not parts, that are made in Poland. I think like probably 50% of them coming from Poland. But I see some real benefits in making their good industry. But like I say, they still their human resource short, cheap. And I have no idea how that is going to help them in the future. The industry obviously developing, there's no problem with that. And we always have to go in a market, in housing market, because with having, like I say, it's pretty much people have less kids, they go older, they're going to inherit the parents' real estate, let's say. Probably in some point is going to be some surplus. Then you can have some, right now probably even in Poland the prices are hugely high for the housing market, but then you're gonna have pretty much a crash. You have countries that pretty much rely on the housing market, on the real estate, like in America used to be in the 2007 2008 when the financial crisis hit, and they rely a lot of that on how well the country does. And it's a good factor, because everybody kind of needs a home, and it's pretty much a tool, let's say, to control the people. Food, shelter, water, energy, all these tools. And that, I think, even for not just for Poland, pretty much from all the Europe, I would say, the housing market, it's in a crisis right now. And like I say, you have a hugely expensive housing, which is making a family much harder than anything. You also have you're living in a apartment probably with your parents. When your parents gonna die, you're gonna inherit that apartment, but obviously it's gonna be too late to just pop up the population, to go the fertility rate upper than 2.2, 2.1. It's gonna be a chaos. That's why even the politicians right now in Europe, I don't think they have a solution. I don't think they even bother to just looking for one, because they are in a good position for them. They have good salaries. They have pretty much everything they wanted, and they want to deal with everything that chaos is gonna bring much later if they go there, because a lot of them, they're pretty old, so they're not gonna get to 2050 to see it. So they don't care what's happening there. But for the rest of us, we are much younger, who probably gonna see close to the end of the century. I think it's gonna be a chaos at some point in Europe. Like I said, not just in Poland, it's pretty much only there, because housing market affects pretty much everything: energy prices, food prices, social mobility. Which is like, you have a car right now, probably it's cheaper to buy the car, but it's more expensive to just own the car in itself, with insurance, with taxes, with gas prices, with services, with road taxes also. That's a huge increase right now, I would say, with even to those rules that they have now. Go with a car on the public road, they have a bunch of rules of bureaucracy that just gonna fine you for pretty much anything. They just kind of hunt for you to just break the speed limit or something, just to fine you pretty much. If you have a cheap car, you're gonna get a fine as 50% of the value of the car, which is insane again. So this is how a left government works. They're just trying to get as much money as possible from the people, no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's taxes, doesn't matter if you can make up some rules and just fine you as much as possible, just to take some money, just to pretty much govern themselves, to fund themselves, and govern you as hard as possible. That's what's happened here in all around Europe, and we're gonna see in the future how everything is gonna play out. But as the population going down, getting older, and pretty much everyone is tired to just even have to deal with them, with the government, and people choose a government, you choose to be governed. This is gonna happen. It doesn't matter if it's a left or a right government, always gonna happen like this. With the left, it's pretty much obviously. With the right, you might have some chances to your, let's say, much better independence as an individual. But with the left, when pretty much they try to tax as much as possible, and they say they're gonna share across the population the wealth, that's just a lie. And we have that experiment a few decades ago, and it seems like we still like it. So obviously we continue on that path. So yeah, about Poland, same conclusion as the other countries by the end of the century, which probably we are not gonna see any improvement in the life quality, probably going down, especially like I say, with much bureaucracy, no social movement. If you go in even a dating market, it's even more chaos there. That's why nobody doesn't even want to talk about it, because there's no solution there. There's nothing you can do. It just pretty much stops, and that's it. And if you want to fix that, you have to fix 100 things before that, and nobody wants that. So the Poland is pretty much like the rest of them Europe, the same future, nothing excited, nothing to be thrilling to see it. It's just, especially on the good side, the bad side, who knows what might happen. But on the good side, I don't think it's gonna get much better than it is today. People say, "Oh yeah, but now I have an app on my phone, and I can order a pizza. It's much better life than used to be." Yeah, but you're gonna lose a lot of freedoms in other parts of your life, and overall, it's gonna feel much worse than it used to be. So I don't see it as an argument that technology help you. I get that, but they also is gonna take a lot from you. So if you are willing to sacrifice freedom for convenience and comfort, so be it. But in the end, you're gonna have neither either of them. So yeah, that's my video about the Poland. Check my other videos if they are still up, and the YouTube didn't shut this channel already. And yeah, later today I'm gonna make a video about how exactly people living in Poland. We're gonna go with Google Earth and also Street View to see exactly randomly on the map how they actually live, to make some a better idea. And that video is gonna be up in a few hours, so if you want to check that too, wait for the update.